Those tough instructions I have to learn.
Okay, good. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Good morning. What a beautiful day.
Yes.
Think about it. Today, it's a lot about sacrifice and freedom. And that's what's important being an American, right? Freedom.
That's right.
For all people. I'm Mark Kupski. I have the honor and privilege to serve as the mayor of Fairview Heights. Today, we are here to recognize the importance and celebrate Juneteenth Day in the city of Fairview Heights. I would like to thank some of those who have joined us here on this 19th day of June, Juneteenth Day. Our city clerk, Karen Koffold. Alderman Anthony LaFour from Ward 2.
Okay.
Alderman Ryan Vickers from Ward 2.
All right, Ryan.
Alderman Barb Brumfield from Ward 3.
All right, Barb.
Alderman Pat Peck from Ward 4.
All right.
Our senior alderman, that doesn't mean she's the oldest, but she's been an alderman the longest. And one of the key reasons we're here today is Alderman Denise Williams, my friend, and one that asked if we could do a ceremony today on behalf of the Juneteenth Committee. Thank you, Denise. We also have with us our Parks Director, Angie Beeston, who helped get everything set up, along with her Park Superintendent, John Proctor. Thank you guys for being out today. Dallas Alley, our Land Use Director, is here somewhere. He's in the back. And we have Josh Greenfield, who's going to help us with the flag today when we get ready to raise the flag. We have members of the Juneteenth Committee here today. If they would raise their hand, and they will get introduced in a bit. Thank you all very much for joining. One over here in the vehicle also raising their hand. So thank you all for being here on this beautiful morning. I'm glad it's today and not yesterday, right? Okay. And most importantly, I want to thank everyone who took time out of your busy schedules to be here today to join us on this important day. On June 19th in 1865, enslaved African Americans in Texas were told that they were free. Can you imagine what went through their minds that day? They didn't know what freedom was. They had to probably think about that for a few minutes and wonder if it was really true. But what a wonderful and amazing day that was. A century and a half later, people across the U.S. continue to celebrate this day, which is now and finally a federal holiday. Juneteenth commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. While Texas was the first state to recognize this important date in 1980, now all 50 states recognize this day in some way, shape, or form. Illinois adopted this as a holiday in 2021, as well as the federal government designated this as our 11th federal holiday. This is a very important holiday. For many, Juneteenth is considered the longest running holiday, and for many it's called America's second Independence Day. For centuries, African Americans faced adversity. Many were treated as slaves, and they were not treated equally. Today, we stand here together, united as we celebrate this very important day in African American history and in the history of the United States. As the mayor of Fairview Heights, I believe in inclusion and equal treatment of all people, regardless of race, color, creed, sexual orientation, or religion. And I ask that each of you here stand up for the rights of all individuals each and every day. It is my honor and privilege to proclaim today Juneteenth Day in the city of Fairview Heights.
All right.
All right.
Today, we proudly will raise the Juneteenth flag to fly in front of our City Hall to recognize the importance of June 19th and to reaffirm our commitment towards equal treatment for all. I would now like to read a proclamation that I have issued commemorating today as Juneteenth Day in our city.
Here, here.
Juneteenth, June 19th, 2023. Whereas Juneteenth Day is the 11th holiday recognized by the federal government. And whereas Juneteenth Day has been celebrated by African Americans since the late 1800s. And whereas Juneteenth is a celebration of struggle, courage, and hope that have brought us together at this time of progress and possibility. Whereas on Juneteenth Day, we recommit ourselves to the work, equity, equality, and justice. And whereas Juneteenth Day is also known as Juneteenth Independence Day, a celebration of freedom. And now, therefore, I, Mark T. Kupski, the mayor of the city of Fairview Heights, Illinois, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2023 as Juneteenth Day in the city of Fairview Heights, Illinois.
All right! Way to go, man! Way to go! Way to go!
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's not about me, it's about the people that suffered and struggled
That's right.
for centuries in this country. And we still face much of that today. But if we continue to work together, we can overcome and learn to treat everyone equally, as everyone should be.
Yes.
Okay, now it's my pleasure to introduce Terrence Taylor with the Illinois Juneteenth Vice Chairman Committee. And then he's going to have his wife, who's also with the committee, say a few words. Then we will do the flag raising, and then we will follow up with a poem. So
Absolutely.
Terrence.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What a great morning. All things Juneteenth. My name is Terrence Taylor. I am the Vice Chair of the Illinois Juneteenth Committee, and I will be reading to you General Order Number 3, as issued by President Lincoln back in 1865 to make sure that the people of Galveston understood that all slaves were free. And it goes as follows. The people are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights, of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them become that between employee and hired labor. The freed are advised to remain at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere.
All right. Thank you.
That is General Order Number 3 as issued by General Granger in 1865, June 19th. And with that, I would like to introduce my lovely wife, who is also the chairman of the Illinois Juneteenth Committee, as well as the vice chair of the Illinois Reparations Commission, Mrs. Stephanie Taylor.
Thank you, Terrence Taylor, for those powerful, powerful words. I stand before you with the 2023 Wave of Freedom because we're not done, as evidenced by the great work done here by Mayor Mark today. So kudos to you, Mayor Mark.
Yes, yes.
Kudos to you.
Yes, yes.
In Native American culture, they have a culture bringer. I think, well, I know she was called the White Buffalo Calf Woman. And she brought the culture to the Native Americans. And I would like to think that you are the culture bringer for Fairview Heights. When the mayor says it's okay to operate in equity, then the citizens know that it's okay to start bridging a gap to repair. Which leads me to the idea of repair, which is the root word for reparations, correct? And we want to acknowledge Governor Pritzker, the Black Caucus, Lieutenant Governor Stratton, for their great work in developing the African Descent Citizens Reparations Commission. As part of this wave of freedom, we need to be awake and we need to be very lucid in what does 40 acres and a mule look like today. How do we go about systematically repairing those things that have been done to us, but do it in a way that's inclusive and equitable to all? We need to understand that when we went to Galveston, it was a diverse population that went to Galveston. Just like there's a diverse population of people standing here today. That we've always been working together in this fight. But we need to remember President Lincoln was a lawyer. He said we had more work to do to bring about that perfect union. So this is a call to action and understanding that we need to be about that life of that work. I want to also tell you that the colors for Juneteenth are red, white, and blue. And that is because we helped to build this country, and we are part of this country, and we are proud of our legacy in this country. The flag represents a nova with a star around it. That's a new star, and it's bursting over a horizon, showing that we are a new people with a new freedom, and we demand equity in this United States of America. Reparations is our next step on that journey. And again, it's going to take a diverse group, such as this wonderful mayor here, to step up and just say, I can at least change the culture and say what I've been doing all along, I want to make it stick. So again, kudos to you. Finally, with the Reparations Commission, we need you all to join us. Join us and come to the table when we have these talks, okay? Because it's no longer that we're demanding reparations. Now we're trying to be strategic about what it looks like to receive reparations. The United States colored troops from Illinois went to Galveston, Texas. They're buried under a parking lot today. But please know, on the 14th, there was a public apology from the mayor in Peoria, and an acknowledgement and a marker, and they were buried with honors. That's part of reparations. So God bless America. God bless Fairview Heights. And this top lady is going to hand the mic over now. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we will do the flag raising. So we're going to ask Terrence and Stephanie, along with Josh.
A new star bursting over the horizon.
May freedom reign. A beautiful sight. All right, at this time, we will ask Eugene Redmond to come up and share a few special words with us. Eugene.
Good morning, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
I see some familiar faces going all the way back to the 1950s. And one of my high school classmates, Peggy LeCompte,
Yes.
whom I took to her prom.
Telling secrets. Yeah, I didn't know about all that.
We go way back. Just a few remarks, and I'll read a poem. I want to show you a book of mine, Arkansas Memoirs. I created 2 words to capture what we're about today, and a lot more. And Arkansas represents my American heritage, but it's an African sounding word, maybe. My mother's folks were from Mississippi, Port Gibson. My father's folks were from Arkansas. And the words, when I go to school, I've been to thousands of schools over my 60-year career. And I've been using this word for many, many years. I've been using this word for many, many years, Arkansas. When I go to the schools, long before I published this book, I even wrote a poem called Arkansas. Whether the students were 3rd graders, 8th graders, 15th graders, grad school, I asked that they tell me what I meant by coining this word. And they always told me, not everyone in the classroom, but several of the students always said to me, you talk about Arkansas and Mississippi, ain't you? And I said, yes, aren't I? Anyway, this encompasses some history. I first heard about Juneteenth as a child from men and women and boys and girls who came up from the Southwest, because the holiday is born in Texas, and so if you were from Louisiana or Texas or Oklahoma, Arkansas perhaps, you knew about it. And so friends of mine who went to HBCUs, historically black universities and colleges and universities, they would come back and tell me about it. And then relatives and a brother who went to train in the military, if they went to Air Force, they would talk about it. So I knew about it, but it wasn't being practiced in East St. Louis or, as far as I knew, any place in these parts. But after that, I grew up and I spent the rest of my life studying, among other things, my degrees in song. I studied European and European American culture, but I also studied African American, African derived, and multicultural experiences. So I became a new kind of scholar, and I have produced now hundreds of them. Not too long ago, one of my proteges, I was sick and still coming back. But one of my proteges went and he made $10,000 for a 50-minute lecture. I mean, a brilliant young man. So the president of the board of trustees called me and said, we would like to send you a token because you produced such they said it's just, awesome. I said, no, I did nothing but just pointed him in some directions. I said, when he came aboard, there was Head Start, there was preschool. I said, all the things, it's just, I slept in a room with 3 sisters in bunk beds around the wall. And so he came with a lot more than I had, because he ate better, he had better studying habits and so on. So I'm just gonna sharing with you where I came from and where a lot of other people came from, some of whom, like me, got to be professors, full professors, and teach all over the world. The poem, which will be read now for the second time. Yesterday morning I read it at City Hall and the flag raising. Thanks to a lot of people. And I want to particularly thank Denise Williams, Alderwoman Denise Williams, for making this happen and making the East St. Louis event happen. I was made Poet Laureate of East St. Louis in 1976, and scholars who researched it became an interesting sort of sidebar for a lot of scholars, especially those in literature. And they said that it was the first time that a city in the United States had appointed a Poet Laureate. I didn't know that. So that's another first for the area and for East St. Louis. A Juneteenth poem for Metro East St. Louis. We are ancient people, coming from ancient freedom to future freedom. Our Juneteenth histories, beginning now and then and now and then, are interspersed with other ancient black cultures. They trail Egypt's pyramids into Cahokia Mounds and follow the Nile River to the Mississippi's banks. Say it differently. Juneteenth numerous histories start with first black civilizations. Africa cradled free life, savaged by New World bondage. And lo, between 1619 and 1860, African ancestors entered/exited their own doors of no return, bound for New World bondage. Even though blacks explored America before Leif Erikson and Christopher Columbus.
Here, here.
Check out Olmec. From horror ships, see Charles Johnson's Middle Passage to barracoons. Barracoons were slave-breaking stations. They were where slaves, Africans turned into slaves, were taken to places in Brazil and others along the east coast of America to be turned into people who spoke Yoruba or any of the other 400 African languages. So they could say things like chicken cacciatore. Slave breaking stations, it's interesting to study those, to refine these ancient people. From horror ships to barracoons, to cotton and tobacco fields, to underground railroads, to buffalo soldiers.
All right.
Memorialized by Motown's Temptations in the 60s. Ancient and neo-African American cultures have prevailed. We've been Juneteenthing. From yam festivals to HBCUs like Tuskegee Airmen, to Duke Ellington like Mood Indigo, To Billie Holiday like strange fruit and good morning heartache. To Miles Davis like all blues and all dues. To Jackie Jonah Kersey like 20th century Olympic queen. To Raymond and Curtis Paradise like Malcolm X Day in East St. Louis. To Tina like a fool in love at the Manhattan Club. We're Juneteenth. It's our word. It's our bond. Freedom to freedom.
All right. That's the poet laureate right there. That's the poet laureate.
Eugene, thank you for the wonderful words.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, at this time, this will conclude our ceremony. I'd like to ask members of the Juneteenth committee to step forward and our elected officials. We'd like to take a photo. And then I'd like to ask everybody to remain. Then I'd like to ask everybody to join us for a photo today. Eugene, you can come up too.